yes, we're doing that podcast thingy. Okay, right, I'm Jan.
I'm Sharon.
And we're menopausal friends living here in France, and we plan to share with you our lives,
Loves.
and laughter, as the saying goes.
There's always lots of that.
We'll be discussing many subjects and also just being us. Enjoy!
Woohoo!
Hello, welcome to this week's podcast.
Hello.
Normally we would start with Sharon's week and her dreams, but because it's Christmas we are recording ahead of time, so we obviously we'll have done the same thing last week as we did in the previous podcast. But this week we are beginning with Sharon's lists. That's got your curiosity going. Why are we doing your lists? What do your lists contain, Sharon?
I've got this habit of using the notes on my phone to make lists of things. Sometimes
I do too, but
yes,
not like you.
Sometimes it's important things. Sometimes it's absolute rubbish. But I rarely delete them. And because I always have iPhones, when I get a new phone, they all download again. So I've got lists going back to 2013.
10 years of lists.
10 years of lists. Yeah.
Right, well, we best get on with what's the first one.
Well, I won't say that. But sorry, I'm
you going to swear?
Bubbling now. So I've got Queen Victoria's children.
Yeah. How many people would have that list on their phone?
I think I was going through a bit of a history thing, and I kept forgetting the names, because there's quite a few of them, of all of Queen Victoria's children. So I have a list of all her children. Do you want to know?
Can you? Well, you might as well. You've saved it for this moment, I think.
It's for this moment. If only I knew. Victoria, Albert, Arthur, Alice, Helena, Leopold, Louise, Edward and Beatrice.
Wow.
There you go. As you talk.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember it all, you know that.
No. Do you want to know what's next?
Yeah, what's the next one?
Next is a recipe for dry rub for ribs, chicken and other meats.
No, that's probably nearer my mark, actually. But that's a dry rub for chicken.
Yes, I have no idea why I have got that. I've had it since April 2017.
And you've never used it?
No.
So we might just as well delete it.
Shall I delete that one now?
Yeah, go on, go for it.
Woo!
And tomorrow someone's going to say, have you got a recipe for a dry rub for a chicken?
One of my kids will phone, like
Yeah.
Fee just did, and go, what, you still got that recipe for dry rub chicken? This one's quite interesting. My younger two kids used to play Minecraft a lot online. It's a game, an online game. And for a while, the soundtrack used to send me to sleep. So that's in my lists as well. The next one is, I was going to say recipe then. It's a knitting pattern. It's a knitting recipe to make textured socks in serger chunky.
Right.
And I don't know why it's on my phone.
Is it serger the knitting will make?
Yes, sorry, yes.
And
it's a knitting pattern for socks.
That's the whole pattern?
It's the whole pattern.
Well, you must have copied a friend's pattern or something and put it on this. It's not a screenshot or...
No, it's all written out, look. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a whole knitting pattern.
You're going to be able to clear out of your list at this rate.
Yeah. The next one I've got... Actually, should I just move on because some of them are really boring?
Well, to know this, quite interesting to know why they're boring. What's
All right,
the boring
okay.
bit?
I've got... this one I started in 2013, and I tried to write down all the things I'd seen at Latitude Festival.
Oh.
So I've got...
What, as in all the bands and everything?
Some are bands, some are comedy, because there's all sorts of things going on there. And then I started, after that, trying to list all the music gigs I'd ever been to. So I've got a list of those now as well.
How many? You haven't got to list them all, but how many have you been to?
How many gigs?
Yeah.
Well, I think 3 big festivals, so you see like 20 people there, don't you? Other than that, 1, 2...
Just counting. You're still counting.
I think about 40.
Wow.
Well,
I've
that's
only,
over
I've
40
only done
years,
2,
isn't it?
I think.
What? Have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
put that on
haven't
your
done that
bloody-
many concerts.
Oh, wow.
Well, I suppose it's not something I think about, especially at my age now, I suppose. I don't necessarily think about that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I did a lot when I was in my early 20s. You were making babies.
This is true, I
Yeah.
was a bit busy.
So I saw people like Earth, Wind and Fire and Stevie Wonder and Kool and the Gang and people like that.
Yeah.
I saw some with my kids, which I probably
And your
wish I
kids
hadn't.
still do it as well, don't they?
Yes,
It's
yeah,
funny,
yeah. And I'm going to a gig next year with Faye,
Yeah.
to see my favourite band, Elbow,
Yeah.
again. So I've seen Elbow about 5 times. Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't been for a long time,
So
but that's another
it's
list.
about 40, what's it called?
Oh, gigs.
Gigs. Well, no,
Yeah.
but it's not just gigs. What are they called? Festivals. That's what I was trying to
yeah,
think of.
no,
But is that
3
festivals
big-
and concerts, or just
I've been to
festivals?
3 latitudes, I think.
Right.
They're only big festivals I've been to, yeah. I've got travel notes.
Or
Well, things I've picked up when I've been travelling and thought it's a really good idea, write that down.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, is there a lot of them?
No, not
Go on
really.
then, tell us then.
Simple things like always take something on wheels rather than carry it. I think I'd had some
Yeah.
bad experiences of taking big bags just on one shoulder.
Yeah.
I think that's a terrible
Yeah.
idea. Think carefully about your budget airline. Disadvantage of no online meals, carrying your baggage around and liquids.
It's not always worth going budget
Yes.
sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah. I've got things like always take water, coffee, if staying at someone else's house, hankies, spare plastic bag, packed lunches, charger and charge box. A charger box? What's a charger box? Do I mean one of those
Probably your power bank, is
power
it?
bank? It's not called a charger box, is it?
No,
Power
that's
bank,
an old
I mean.
lady term, really, isn't
I
it?
probably couldn't think of the word at the time. Power bank.
And do you ever look at that list?
I don't know if I do.
No. See, I forget I've made the lists. That's the trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've then got another recipe for a mug cake, which is something I've obviously got that from Fee. Fee used to make us little chocolate cakes in mugs.
In case you don't know, Fee is Sharon's offspring.
Yeah, so they used to make us mug cakes, so I've got a recipe for that. I've got Jan's cricket guide, which we've discussed before, which is a waste of my time and effort. I've got England, this is football, men's football.
Right.
England's Euro qualifiers, November 2019, who played when they played Montenegro and Kosovo.
You've got the team.
I've got the team.
You're joking.
I've got more than one of these. Yeah.
See, this is where you need to be able to look at your phone lists in a
Yeah.
quiz, don't you, really?
Yeah.
But you're not allowed.
I've got my Desert Island discs.
Ah.
Yeah,
Oh, see, yeah, something we've not discussed that, really, have
it
we?
is not something we've discussed,
No,
but I think everybody should write their Desert Island discs. So it's.
The
is it
trouble
one,
is with
two,
me, I don't remember
four,
titles very well.
5, 6. I've got 7 there. I think you have to have 8.
Oh,
If
do you?
people don't know what Desert Island Discs is, it's a very, very old Radio 4 programme that's been going since just after the war, I
Yeah, I
think.
was forgetting it's still going. Yeah.
It's still going now, and you have to pick 8 songs that they play that you would take to the desert island, and then they give you the complete works of Shakespeare, the Bible, and then you're allowed one other book, and then one luxury, I think, something like that. Anyway,
That's a future podcast, maybe.
yes. So I've got my Desert Island discs. I started to make a list of some of my favourite films, but the first line of the film.
Oh my god. The thing is,
So do you want
that
some?
on?
Okay,
Okay, go on then.
right. What's the first line of The Martian?
Hello, can anybody hear me?
It's all right, team. Stay in sight of one another. Let's make NASA proud today. Oh, dear.
Okay, another one.
Arrival.
Sorry, I'm late.
That'd have been better. I used to think that this was the beginning of your story. She talks about the birth of her daughter at the beginning.
Ah, right. I've forgotten that.
Yeah. Yeah, got quite a few. Titanic.
Oh, go on in, go on.
We're at 13 feet. You should see it now.
We're at 13 feet, you should see it now.
Yeah, because they're going down in the submarine-y thing.
Oh, I don't remember there being a submarine thing.
They go down in to look at the wreck, don't they? That's the first thing they do at the beginning of the Titanic, is they go down in the little baby sub to look at the...
So they look at the wreck of the Titanic before the film starts. I don't even remember that.
See, that's why you need to make a list of film first lines.
Oh my God. See, I feel like I've got to watch it again now, and I don't usually do that.
No. This is the... If you know you're forgetful, which I think we've established we are.
But as I said, I forget to look at my lists. So how many have you got on this list?
Oh, films.
Is there too many?
No, there's not many of those films.
Well, go on then, give us some more.
All right. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. There's quite a few things that happen before anybody says anything.
Wait, Harry.
You obviously don't know what happens at the beginning.
No.
The beginning is where they drop him off on the doorstep.
Yeah, okay, right.
And the first things that are said is, I thought you would be here, Professor McGonagall.
Well, Harry says that, does he?
No, because Harry's a tiny baby, because they drop him off at the doorstep of the Dursleys.
Oh
So,
my God,
yeah. Da Vinci Code. I'll make that the last one, otherwise this whole podcast is going to be about my lists, because I've got a lot to go.
Da Vinci Code.
Can you remember what happens at the beginning of that?
No, I can't, so there's no chance, really.
It's when the albino monk is chasing the guy through the Louvre.
Stop!
Stop now, he says. There you go,
Yes!
Jan. Some of them have a logic. There you go. I've got a list of people I sent Christmas cards to in 2020.
And how many of them do you still send to?
Well,
you've
not
stopped,
many.
not
I've stopped
this
doing
year
it
at all,
completely.
yeah.
I've got West Ham's first team in January 21.
Right.
I started to write down. I went through a Harry Potter phase when I first got here, and I didn't have...
France?
Yeah, when I first got to France, not here in your loft. When I first got to France, all I had was my radio and DVDs to watch, so I didn't have telly set up or anything.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I was a bit Harry Potter obsessed for a while, because I had them on DVD and I used to watch them. So I've made a list of all the names of everybody in the films. Not the actors, but the names of the characters. And I wanted to try and remember all their first names as well. Like Professor McGonagall's first name is actually Minerva, and Dolores Jane Umbridge. Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Severus Snape.
This
Harry
is why
James
you've always
Potter.
got your phone in your hand, isn't it? Because you're just always writing lists.
I am. Yeah, they're great, aren't they? So there's quite a lot on that one.
Well, we won't go through all that then, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah. I read... Oh, that's probably...
People could
really...
be very impressed, though, if you suddenly flipped, you didn't know, and they got your phone out and
Yeah,
what was his first name?
I read books they're science fiction books by Ian M. Banks.
Yeah.
And Dunk likes them as well, doesn't
Yeah.
he? And one of the science fiction themes in the books is the ships that the culture have.
Right.
Spaceships,
Yeah.
culture have. And they always give them really strange names.
Okay.
So I wrote a list of all the spaceship names from the culture.
Right, listeners, you won't believe this, but I didn't know about a lot of these lists.
Yeah. Do you want to know a couple of the names?
Go on then, give us the names.
Right, we've got Nervous Energy.
For a name of a ship?
Well, that's why they're so good, because they're
Okay, go on.
Prosthetic Conscience,
Right.
Irregular Apocalypse.
If you've read these books, you know what she's talking about, but for
Yeah.
me it's all bizarre.
Just read the instructions.
Oh, you are joking.
No.
Go on.
just testing. Absent friends. Don't try this at home. That's a good name for a ship, isn't it? They're great, aren't they?
They are bizarre. But I suppose, yeah, it's just what first thing that comes to their head at the time of creating that ship.
I have got a list of all the people I've had sex with. But
Have you?
I'm not going to list that.
Get that? A list of all your sexual partners.
I wouldn't go as far as partners. Some of them, I only saw them once.
Okay, we won't go down that road, no.
We're not going. I've got an attempt at a budget.
Well, your attempt at a budget.
Yeah, so this was in 2021.
When you first got here. And
Yeah, I was trying to work out what things would cost me. I've got a list of things I might want to do in the... Actually, I could up to... Oh no, they've got ticks on them. Of things I want to do in the house. So a lot of these are done now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I've got lots of ticks.
Them sort of lists are good, yeah, because you just...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's satisfying.
So going back to insulating the ground floor, which we did, log burner, ensuite in the loft, all those things are done, which is good. I had a list of things I needed for the chickens.
Right.
But it's only got one thing left on it now.
Oh, well,
we've done, and it just says transport, because I've got no way of transporting them. Oh God, that's really geeky again. Oh, I've got things to buy in the UK.
Oh, so you keep a list of stuff to look out for?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's the radio thing you used to listen to.
Cabin pressure. Yes,
yeah.
It started off as a Radio 4 series. I did have it on CD as well.
What list did you make from that?
I wrote the name of... There's one episode where they keep opening pubs on the airfield. So I wrote down the names of all the pubs. So because they're really good, because they're called the Flap and Throttle and the Windsock Arms.
Windsock Arms?
Because they're on the airfield.
Yeah.
And then they... Oh, see, the thing about cabin pressure is there's actually 27 episodes, but they go through every letter of the alphabet.
Oh, right.
So it started at A, and they're all countries.
Right, okay.
That different countries they flew to, because it was about a little airline. Yeah. So I wrote down all the countries, the ABC countries. So I've got that. I've got my prescription. That's quite sensible. This probably needs updating. Premiership teams and their managers. This is 2019-20 season.
Well, quite likely to have changed.
Yeah, just looking at them, there's not many that are still there. Oh, that's another geeky science thing. Yeah, do you remember watching Travellers?
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote down the 6 protocols. In Travellers, they had 6 rules they had to follow.
I wouldn't even... I probably heard it at the time and then dismissed it.
So it was don't save a life, don't take a life, leave the future in the past, resume your host's life, and traveller team should stay apart unless instructed otherwise.
Again, if you've watched Travellers, you'll know what that is about. Like, give us the title of your lists, if you've got titles on them, or just tell them what they are and we can see if we want you to elaborate.
And we've got another one for Umbrella Academy. Do you remember that series?
Yes, another good
about
one.
all the powers the children had.
Oh, so it's the powers you've put...
Yeah.
My God, Sharon!
You had no idea, did you?
No!
Yeah.
How many are there?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think.
Well, quickly then, what were the powers?
Right, Ben had tentacles that came out, but he was the one who died.
Right.
Alison used to be able to say, I heard a rumour, and put ideas in your head.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
Luther was strong, he's the one that went to the moon.
Right.
Vanya, who then became Victor, had all the powers. We didn't realise that at the time. Klaus could see dead people.
Yes.
5 could move in time.
Yes, yes.
And Diego could move and bend knives.
I'm lacking in my list, obviously. Yeah. Okay, right.
Future pet names.
It gets worse. So you've obviously, someone's told you what their pet's name is. Oh, I'll keep that one just in case.
I've kept a few that for future ones, yes. Future pets.
Okay. Yeah, and there's there many of them?
Lottie, Arthur,
Sweet. Oh, Arthur's a good one, yeah.
Dolly,
Yeah,
or Dorothy.
yeah.
Stella.
Stella.
I think that's a good name for a cat.
Really? Maybe. Go on.
Hattie. Ralph.
I do like human names on cats.
Yeah. Dylan. And Penny.
Penny.
And I've got
not
one.
bad.
I had 3 chicken names, obviously. I've named 2 of those.
Yeah.
And the third one is Wilma. If I ever got a third.
Quite good for a cat, though, as well, I
Yeah.
think. Or any pet, really. Yeah, next list.
This is the Jan and Shaz list. Now, this was quite long at one stage,
Oh, my God,
wasn't
yes. Things we were going to see and do.
it? Yes. We've still got some. Oh, that one we've been to.
Oh, we'll have to
actually.
refer to that at some point.
Yep. So that's on there. Right. I started this one maybe a couple of years ago. You know Susie Dent, who's the wordy woman on
Yes.
Countdown?
She does the dictionaries.
Yes. She used to have a Twitter account. I don't know if she's still got it because I refuse to go on Twitter anymore. Where she used to revitalise, if you like, words from the past.
Yeah.
And I've got a list of some of those.
Give us 4.
Right. Scorryfunging.
Okay.
It's a real word. Is manically tidying before visitors arrive.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. We all do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Betwattled. What do you think what that would mean? If you're betwattled.
And you can't think of what or something?
Yes! A useful description from the 1600s for feeling foggy-headed, confused, or too sleepy to think straight.
Oh, I'm at that all the time.
This one was one of my favourites, and I probably said this to you before, that these are opposites of words we use a lot, but the other opposite's fallen out of use.
Right, okay.
So you can be gruntled,
I've heard of that.
like satisfied rather than disgruntled.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Now, gruntled doesn't sound like a word you'd use
Well,
being satisfied,
yeah.
is it?
You can be kempt rather than unkempt.
Unkempt. Yeah.
You can be whelmed.
Yeah, rather than under
Under
or
or
over.
over, yeah. You can be ruthful rather than ruthless.
Right. I'm going to say that is another podcast. We need to save that for another day.
Yeah, I've got loads of those.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think that's quite interesting. I'll
give
be
you one
learning
more.
from it.
Scrogglings.
Scrogglings.
What do you think a scroggling is?
I've no idea.
It's small worthless apples left hanging on a tree after the crop is gathered.
Scrogglings is a worthless apple.
Yeah.
Oh my. Have you seen B Stockdale puts a word up every now and then?
Oh,
on
does she?
Facebook, yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
There was one recently, and it was one that you'd mentioned. I can't remember. Off the tip of my head,
right,
can't remember.
okay.
Anyway, yeah.
I've got poems.
Oh, it's one about laying around in bed.
Oh, right.
I can't remember what
Yes,
it's
I
called
can't
now.
remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got poems and little stories I've written, which I'm not going to share on here. I've got the measurements of things I might look at when I'm out.
Oh, essential.
Yeah. Like when I was looking for chest of drawers for the loft, I had the measurements of the slopes.
Yeah.
So I knew what could go under my mattress sizes and things like that.
Right.
So that's probably the most useful list so far.
I think they're all useful in their own way.
We have the women's England Euro football team.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Oh, my 2018 crime binges.
Right. Well, I can't come. We were going to do a binge TV, but that's too old to be talking about now
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
Like, we're talking about ones that we've done in the past, but...
Because I went on a bit of a Scandi crime binge in 2018. Great band names.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But there's some bizarre band names, aren't there?
I've got a list of all the countries I've visited.
Well, yeah, but we've touched that on the last video.
Yeah.
Or not the last one before.
I've got Julie's
Podcast.
jobs, which is always
Oh,
good.
Julie's job's
Yeah.
here to do, yeah.
Yeah, because Julie does bits around the house for me as well. I've got a list of things to take camping or on caravans when we go mobilone. So I've got a list for that. Things like tea towels. Yeah, which you also always forget. Ice blocks, a nail brush. This is one of my favourites, isn't it? The Kings and Queens of England.
Yeah, that's the one I always remember. So you have their the names and when
the
they
date.
reigned.
Yes, going back to 757, right up to the present day.
Oh, blimey, 757.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who was... Because they weren't kings of the whole of England even then, really.
No.
It's not till you get to kind of the Edwards, I think, they're kings of England rather than of Mercia or something like that. Yeah, but I got all those.
Have you got many more lists?
I've got another list of things to do in the house. They're tiny things, though. It is called All the Small Things. The list. Yeah.
We've got about a couple of minutes.
Oh God. All right. I'll list them
Only
all.
because we've got other stuff to talk
I know.
about.
Future travels, charity shop v Grenier lookouts.
Oh, that's essential.
Yeah. Things that Jan said backwards.
Oh, that's the one you got to touch on.
Things Jan has a habit sometimes of just saying things the wrong way round. So I've written some of those down.
Getting two words muddled up.
Yes. So we do have like things like key door instead of door key.
Yeah.
Basket bisque instead of biscuit base.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Let's see what's wrong.
Eton mess instead of Elon Musk.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's easy. Easy mistake.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Fiddling our thumbs.
We're filling our thumbs.
Yeah. My favourite, which is Wenzel Doshington.
Yeah. Yeah, we was in the middle of a quiz then, weren't we?
Oh dear. Throskredding instead of crosswording. Moster and Petal instead of mortar and pestle. It's the way our brains work, isn't it?
Oh.
I've got a list of, well, it was all the books I've read.
Yeah.
But then I accidentally deleted that list, so I had to kind of go back and add things on at a later date. But, excuse me, I think since 2020 I've had a list chronologically. Oh, this is a good one. You know, we've said before about my obsession with Monkey World.
Yeah.
So I have a list of all the different monkeys that were on Monkey World.
So there's a lot of them, I assume.
Yes, it's 20 odd, I think.
Yeah.
From like, you know, black tufted marmoset to stump-tailed macaques.
Right, do you know what? How many more have you got there?
Films I've watched. Now that list is intact from 2013, so that is 10 years old now, that list.
Yeah.
Of every film I've watched and where I've watched it.
Everyone.
Yes.
We'll have to do a podcast just on that list, I think,
And
one of these
I've got
days.
a list. I started to do a list of all the holidays I'd been on in which years. So I started that in 1970. I didn't start it in 1975. Started writing the list from 1975 to the present day. But I do still have some gaps where I'm not sure. But yeah, I started that. That's probably about it, actually.
It's the wonder your phone hasn't exploded.
Oh, and wait. Yeah, but that's, yeah. I do delete that out of frustration sometimes. Start
When
it
your
again.
weight's fluctuating or something.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Well, no doubt Sharon's list will appear at some point in another podcast, because we're bound to ask a question and say, wait, I've got that on my lists.
Yes, I have.
Right, so on the subject of lists, we thought we'd have a look at the suggestion of Renee's bucket lists.
Yes.
So it's obviously we'll touch on this, we're not try and linger too much on them, but we're bound to, again, like we did with the other travel ones, we're bound to talk something else.
I've got a couple of questions before we start this.
Okay, go on then.
One was, what's the difference between your bucket list and your what would I do when I win the lottery list?
Yeah.
Because there's things I would have on my list if I won the lottery.
Because you'd have the money.
Because I'd have the money
Yes,
to do
good
it.
point.
But they're not all money related, I don't think. But
Well, do you know what I think? We should do that another one. If I won the lottery, but I know that everybody does that, so
Yes.
a lot of that probably people will be able to relate to.
yes.
So at the moment, their wish lists some of it we will never ever afford to do, or
Yes.
they're just basically things we would like to do, and yeah, and if we won the lottery, we might do some of them.
Yes.
But at the moment, I've got travel, because I mean, and I
Yes.
think that's probably the same for most people.
Mhm.
And every time I watch a travel program or anything, I want to basically be everywhere.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for TV, we probably wouldn't be quite as tempted, I expect, because they do show you what you could see, don't they?
They do.
But it's the other side of it is for people that don't get to do it, they feel like they've seen it. So it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But yeah, I'd like to do quite a lot of countries. I mean, on my list I've got Canada, India, China, Austria, Switzerland, Germany. But realistically, the list is endless of ones that are still to do. And some of them I'd like to do as a road trip,
Yes.
driving. So it'd have to be within Europe, really, to do
Yes.
that. But, well, I suppose not, if you've got ferries and things. Yeah, so I quite like to do that. What's your first on your list?
Yes, travel was on my list as well. My first one I thought of. And I suppose going back to that, having the money as well as having the time and energy. I mean, I've got my long haul flights, like things like
right.
India, Japan,
Yeah,
Canada.
see, I wouldn't have thought that side of it. Yeah.
And then again, if as a bucket list, being to every country in Europe would be amazing. And also things like riding the Orient Express would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, on touching on something like that, I've got the Swiss train trip.
Yes.
So I would like to do one of those, because they're beautiful trains,
Oh,
aren't they? They're
absolutely.
all got glass everywhere and you can see everything. I do fancy doing that.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'll tick that off of my list there. Not that I've done it, that we've
just-
spoke about it.
yes.
Now, I've got zip wire. Now, I've done a zip wire. I did that over the little lake in Fontaine Danielle. But I'd like to have the courage to do one over a bigger area. And the only bigger area and nearest I've got to with doing a zip wire is we went to Go Ape,
Yes.
the parks that where you climb around the trees and all this sort of stuff, and then you have to get to places via the zip wire. But I didn't want to do the climbing trees bit, so I never got to do the zip wire, because I found it was just the climbing trees and balancing on logs and ropes was just too much for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's another one. If I could get just a zip wire and I was brave enough, I'd like to do that. Whereas I wouldn't want to do a bungee jump.
Yes, I was thinking of scary things. That's probably the only one I would do as a zip wire. But having watched Seconds from Disaster for years, where
they're not the best ones to watch, are they? Really?
No.
But
and then
the only way you can look at it is, well, that happened to them, so it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah. So I'm not brave when it comes to those kind of things. I would never want to jump out of a plane. I don't even like roller coasters. So.
Yeah, see, I don't think I've got that on my list. Or did I? Yes, I've got to jump out of a plane.
No.
But knowing that my ex done it, and that a friend of ours has done it, it does make you think,
Well, maybe I'll be the one who lands and breaks both their legs.
oh, don't. Actually, generally, the ones I've seen do it are with another flyer, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
They're strapped to someone else.
Yeah.
All right, so you could both do it.
Four broken
That's
legs.
what you're going to say, yeah. Okay, so we've touched on that one. Next on your list?
Well, is this my most achievable? To be fluent in French.
Oh,
I mean, I'd have to live till I was 100. But I wish I'd started when I was younger. But yeah, on my bucket list.
well, yeah, I'm the same. I wish I'd either had a better French teacher in school or wish I'd paid attention, because I can't decide if it was the teacher's fault or mine, to be honest.
No.
I want to do a toboggan run,
Wow.
and as near as I've got to doing that is here in Normandy. There's somewhere called La Luge, and it's just a toboggan run on metal runners, basically, down a little mountain or something. And I'm so excited about doing that, because I'd love that. I would have gone with the grandkids and my daughter and that if we could have done, if they were here for longer. But it's definitely something that is definitely achievable, and I hope to do. But that doesn't appeal to you.
No. things that might kill me.
Well, that's that can't kill you. That's just
You've
fun.
not seen those Olympics?
Shush. That's different. That's a lot faster. I'm not going to listen to any answers with that. And sometimes you need to live dangerously.
No.
And it's getting. I mean, even getting on a plane to me, I'm always scared about.
Yes.
But I love the thrill of getting the other end and think, I did it.
Yes. Planes and cars, I think the most dangerous things I do, and I think that's enough. No.
Yeah, see, I think of getting on a ferry as dangerous because I can't swim. That's what it is.
Oh, right.
But I think even like the most prolific, or whatever you call it, swimmer, it's a danger to, isn't
well,
it?
yes,
really?
yeah. Have you seen the zebra disaster?
Well, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Right, okay, so...
My next one on my list is read all the books. All of them.
You best go home now and get started.
Seeing as I only read, on average, one a month, again, I'm going to have to live a very long time.
Yeah, I always think you read quickly, but there's some people that read a book a day, aren't there? I don't know how they do it.
Well, I was pleased when I read more than 12 books last year, because I thought that was more than one a month.
Yeah.
And my friend Natalie read 100 books last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
incredible, isn't it?
I'm not fast at all.
Right, I've got one, this probably won't be on your list, a helicopter ride. But you've done a little plane in Egypt.
I did do a little plane.
So that can't be a lot different, surely.
No, and I did feel sick on it. But yeah, no,
I'd love to go in a helicopter.
I can think of 3 or 4
Shut up. Don't tell me of any disasters.
helicopter disasters.
But yes, I would,
Yeah.
I think if it was bought for me for a birthday, I'd love it. I'd be thrilled to do that.
All right. Well, I'll get together with Dunk and we'll do it for your 70th.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
not that
by
long
then-
away.
I was going to say by then I might have developed a fear, but yeah, it's not that long away. Your next one?
I would like to at least once travel first class. So get on the plane, turn left.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say I think I've done first class, but I'm not sure I have actually. It's been a better class. I think it's been first class.
Well, it's business, isn't there?
Yeah.
Where you get the nice beds to sleep on for the Atlantic flights. So
Right,
that
yeah,
would
no,
be
that's
nice.
actually, I didn't have that on my list, but I wouldn't mind that. Yeah.
Because you get such luxury, don't you? You know, you can stay.
Even on a train though, wouldn't mind doing the first class on a train that's the overnight ones with the nice rooms and stuff.
Like on Murder on the Orient Express, those little rooms.
And Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer.
The rich people had really luxury cabins, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Right, one on my list. We were looking at some lists actually on Google for prompts because we couldn't think, which is normal. But I'd volunteered. Volunteering is something I don't have time to now these days, with all the videos and everything. But I've always the main volunteer thing I would like to be able to do would be at Christmas.
Yes.
Serving,
Christmas.
and to just basically bring a bit of joy to someone else who wouldn't generally have any at Christmas, and maybe just for the fun of it and the social side of it, just in a charity shop or something.
Yeah.
But being in France, it's that bit more difficult because obviously it would be more stressful than fun because of the language. So maybe not, doing it here, but.
I have got learn how to sing. Yep, I don't think I'll ever do this now, but because we're old, but I would have loved to have learned how to sing. Because I sing flat.
Yeah, I fancy being in a choir,
I don't sing well enough for that.
But then that you could learn from the person. But then
How
again,
long
it
would
depends
they-
if they turn around and say to you, no, sorry.
I was going to say,
Go
how
home.
long would they put up with me in the hope that I might eventually get in tune? Oh, I can't hold a tune at all.
Well,
And I love music, and I love to hear other people
Some
sing.
of the amateur choirs I've heard, I've thought to myself, they're just humouring that person.
That'll be me. I'll be at the back miming.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
But it'd be great to learn to sing.
yeah. Well, in the same vein, I'd like to learn to play an instrument. I mean, I did the usual recorder at school because that was the only thing my mum and dad could afford for me to do. Because if we'd have done, something else, I might have gone for violin or piano, but those lessons were that bit more pricey and we just couldn't do it. But I do fancy learning how to play a piano.
See, I've been through that.
Have you?
Several instruments. Absolutely useless.
Oh, so at least you've had a go though.
Yeah, I did have a go at a few. And on 2 occasions, I chose the biggest instruments, and then I used to have to take them home on the bus for extra practice. So
not a wise idea, really.
The cello and the French horn.
Just imagine you're not tall.
Taking that home on a 180.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't good. I did those 2. I did record, I did piano. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Couldn't do it.
No, sometimes you watch people with piano and I just think... I have to admit, you're only watching the fingers, but whether I'd be like the people at our chair fit and you start doing the pedals, I've got a bit, a bit confused then, but... No, I like the idea of it. And because Duncan's mum's got a organ, an electric organ. I sometimes wished because she can play that a bit. But I've never heard her play it, mind you. No. So one thing, what's your next one, sorry?
Have a book published, write a book.
Yes, because
write a novel.
You're the keen writer at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, I've always written, but I've thrown a lot of it away. I've got some poems that I've written, but I am going to a writers' group at the moment. Yeah. So I'm trying to write in a more disciplined way.
And it's probably easier to achieve now, isn't it? Because you can get yourself published easier now.
Oh God, yeah, people self-publish.
Yeah, so if you went through a publisher, there's probably a lot of people that wouldn't be in print now if it wasn't for that option now.
Yeah.
Because we've got another friend who writes. She got stories about her cat, I think it was, but never my sort of book. And I felt bad.
Bernadette's had things published, hasn't she, in magazines and things?
Yeah, I forgot about the magazine one. Yes,
and she's writing a novel.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good for your ego and giving you confidence and stuff, isn't it?
I still don't share much of my writing though. I'd have to share it more. Yeah.
And my next one is watching the sunrise. And we sort of talked about it earlier on. You said you've done that. You've done that in
Cambodia.
In Cambodia. See, I mean, I see sunset quite a lot here, but not fully. But I mean, we have some beautiful sunsets.
We do,
here, especially in recent years.
Yeah, I wonder if the sunrise here is. I'm never up. I'm never going to get up for that. What time do you have to get up?
Oh, it's different times of year, isn't
now,
it? I think?
But
now, I'll Google it.
All right. Shall I carry on while you're Googling that?
Oh, yeah.
I saw, it was a special like touristy thing, but I saw the sunrise over the Angkor Wat temples in Cambodia.
Oh, that would have been amazing, yeah.
Except it was a bit cloudy that day, but it was still a lovely thing to watch.
Oh, it's not too bad. It's at 8:47 at the moment in Mayen.
Oh, see, that's achievable, isn't it?
Yeah. But you've got to get in the right spot, haven't you? You don't want to be in the middle of buildings, you probably won't see it.
So will it be, excuse my ignorance, will it be in the other direction to where I watch the sunset?
You're asking the wrong person, Sharon.
Dunk! Yes, because the sunset's down past your house.
It's, yeah, so it doesn't actually say.
I think it rises in the east, sets in the west. Rises in the west, sets in the east.
Because that's the west, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Japan is the house, the country of the rising
you've noticed
sun.
we're not very good at this.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so that's, I'd like to be somewhere, and probably it's a lot more likely to be while on holiday, isn't it?
Yes, that would be
like
lovely
to see
over the sea or something like that. Yeah.
Your next one?
Meet Guy Garvey. No.
Does anybody listening know Guy Garvey? Sharon wants a date.
I don't know I mean, that's definitely out of the question, but even meeting him, and I think he's the lead singer of my favourite group, which is Elbow.
I've got to listen to them. I know I've heard them, and I know I didn't dislike them, but I just need to listen to them again.
You need to look at his lyrics as well, because the lyrics he writes are beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a really down-to-earth guy.
But when I see his face, and I know you've said that, I look at him and think, I can't imagine him singing lyrics like that. It's weird, isn't it?
No, it's always lovely. Whether I could actually speak,
Yeah.
I think he'd put me at my ease. He's that kind of person.
Yeah.
He'll be like, sit down, Sharon, let's have a little talk.
Is he? He's from there, is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that would be lovely.
Oh. See, my next one is to overcome a fear. So it's something I think we do a lot, really, without even realising it, don't we? I mean, things.
Pogo stick. Do you want to go back? On
Pogo
that?
stick. I could try go back on that
Roller
pogo stick.
skates.
Oh God, yeah. See, oh, do I want to do those? I mean, one thing was when Duncan bought me a bike, because I was a bit scared about when I was younger. But once, and I said to him, I can't, because he just convinced me. And I think because he'd managed to get me on a bike, and I did it, and I was quite pleased with myself. Again, it's a bit like getting on a plane, although not. But getting on a plane, getting on a bike and getting to the other end, and I did it without killing myself. So I think from that he thought to himself, I can teach it to swim now, but I wouldn't let him do that even though as much as I love him and trust him, I couldn't let him. No one can support me, I'm convinced, even the water.
Well, you know your
But,
mum, you know, we'd be quite buoyant.
Yeah, I know, but it's got worse, I think, in some ways. It's got older. But anyway, it's just basically not gone away. But yeah, so overcoming a fear. What other fear? I mean, going on a plane the first time was a fear, and I still get scared every time, but I love it when you get to the other end and you're still alive. See, I'm not that keen on boat travel, but I do it every time. Again, I suppose it's similar to getting on a plane, but not as enjoyable to me.
No, but that goes back to the swimming, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, even the tunnel. I love using the tunnel, the Eurotunnel, but I get anxious about travel full stop, I suppose, but I just feel less worried in the tunnel than I do in a boat. Yeah, I don't know what other. I just.
Would you like to swim? Would you like to be able to swim?
Yeah. I just think it's. They say it's never too late, don't they? But I just don't. I've got too much else I want to concentrate on to be worrying about that, really. Overcoming fear. I mean, it's a bucket list generally, I think, because there's lots of things that come up, and I just want to just do it. So it's that. I've got a book next door called Feel the Fear and Do It.
Yes.
Anyway, and it's true, isn't it? You should just get on with it.
You can make fears bigger in your head than they are
definitely.
in real life, can't you?
And the more that's why you need to do these things and get rid of it, because otherwise it's just in your head all the time, and it's accelerating, isn't it? Growing. But yeah, I'll no doubt come up with another fear that I want to conquer one day.
I've got a big one and a little one. So a big one is to go green. So that would mean
as in self-sustaining,
self-sufficient, yeah. So solar panels, vegan, electric car, being carbon neutral, grow my own veg, all that business would be fantastic.
So some of those really, again, touch on winning the lottery, don't they? Because
yes, some of those are
sadly, a lot of things are expensive when it's a shame they have to be when they want people to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the little one was go to a Michelin star restaurant. And we've actually got one quite local to us.
We have, on the way into May Inn. Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's pricey but lovely, and so it should be, because that's why he's earned his star, and why you're paying a lot of money to eat there. I just can't bring myself to eat in Michelin style places because I know it's expensive, and I think it's that thing again about I know I could make it cheaper. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I couldn't dress it as well as they do, probably, and
a lot of them do these like 15-course taster menus when you have a little bit, a tiny bit of 15
I wouldn't
different
mind
things.
doing that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
At least you can say you've tasted it, and whether it's just poppycock. You know what I mean?
Poppycock?
Like I think about when they do the bubbles or whatever around the food and that, and I think, why? And that bubble might be made from, I don't know, some fish soup. I don't know, it's just bizarre.
No.
And there's a thing coming up on Facebook at the minute, so make your own smoke with your cocktail. What does that matter?
Yes.
Why do you even smoke with your cocktail?
I don't think these are needs, are they, Jane?
No, they're not needs, but it's just making me think, we've gone off on a tangent, I know, but you think about Michelin and you think about that, don't you? You think about the gimmicky stuff and the fact it's a different shape.
And it might be just beautifully cooked food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's obviously a lot of the French restaurants here are like that. The portions can be quite small, especially in the evening meals.
Yes.
They'll be quite small, and the taste can be amazing, and it does to a point make up for the cost. But then I'm still talking probably within a reasonable price.
Yeah.
So I've almost like gone back in time. I've got a second home, but then Sharon touched on the fact that she'd like a home in the UK.
I'd like a little bolt hole.
And it made me think, well, maybe I need a second and a third then, because I want somewhere I can go to in the sun, but at the same time somewhere I know I could go to and stop at in the UK to be able to see the family easier.
Yes.
But I think then we're coming down the road of winning the lottery again.
We are. A friend of ours at Chairfit a couple of weeks ago said that she paid for an extension to be built on the top of her
son's house.
And that's her little bolt hole.
And it's
it
just
sounded amazing, then, didn't it? Yeah.
It's just got. I mean, it doesn't even have to be flash. Just a basic place you can turn up. You've got somewhere to sleep. Not worry about hotels. And knowing family are close by as well, if anything should happen. There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
One day, you never know.
Well, we're back to that lottery, aren't we?
Yeah. You run out of yours.
No.
Right.
We were talking about maybe going on one of those long treks, going back to our travel, but maybe a charity trek or something like that. So my friend did the Great Wall of China, not the whole wall, but a section of the Great Wall of China.
So like a walk-in trek, you mean?
Yes, yes. So I'd quite like to do Machu Picchu.
Yes.
Which is in Peru.
I've often thought about that, because Claire that used to work in where we worked.
Oh right, did she do
She
Machu
did Machu
Picchu?
Picchu, yeah, with her friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
So something like that, but I'm probably too old. Mind you, perhaps I should do it while both my knees appear to be working correctly.
They're still bending, you're going
still
forward.
Bending. Yeah, so something like that would be brilliant.
I've got, on the subject of travel again, but I want to take a cruise.
Is that what that says?
I said my writing's gone a bit like
Do you know, it looks like
a
urine.
spider with ink on their foot. Looks like urine. It does look like urine.
Looks like take a urine.
Well, that'd be one. I've solved that one.
You did that 5 minutes ago. We stopped the podcast.
Yeah, no, it's take a cruise.
Take a cruise.
Now, I'm not sure whether I'd get on the boat with Duncan because he's not keen on a cruise. But I did touch, when we were talking about voyages or holidays, the other podcast, that the fjord one, I quite fancy doing that. I'd be quite happy to get that ticked off my list, because it just looks stunning, because it's not, as well with that one, it's not a big, heavy, usually a big, heavy, like Titanic type boat. It's quite a small boat.
The ones these
and they
days.
go down canals almost,
Like
don't they?
tower
Rather than
blocks, aren't
I know
they?
they're scary. I just don't know how they. Obviously, they're going through deep waters. They do keep afloat because of that. But it's scary.
No.
I just look at them and wait for them to fall over.
I don't
It's
think
amazing.
they do.
No, I know they're balanced, aren't they?
Yeah,
Same with
they're
ferries,
balanced.
but
Yeah.
they just look top heavy, don't they? When you've got so many pools on them and casinos and.
Yeah.
I'd like to spend a night on one if it was in dock, just to see what they're like, but to actually travel it.
That'd be really good. Like a little taster session.
Yeah.
My worry is being sick, obviously. If I paid out for a cruise and then couldn't leave my cabin because I was too ill, I'd be absolutely gutted.
Can you imagine? I
I
wonder
don't
if
know
the
how.
longer you're on it, the better you would feel with that,
don't
whether
know.
you'd get your sea legs, as they say.
Yeah, I really don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to do that. That's, not a huge cruise, but just a fjords one. And I think Duncan might even go on that one. But
Yes.
It's just he's not into the, he never used to be in saying that. He never used to be in doing campsite holidays because of, he just wants to do your own thing, and you feel inclined to do what they say because it's on a list on a board in the morning, we're doing this at this time, and he doesn't like that pressure. But for some reason, when we were in the Vendée and in Fuerteventura, he joined in. Whereas,
Perhaps he just likes the option. rather than being forced
Yeah,
into it.
whereas, because, if you're on a boat, you've only got the option every now and then to get off, haven't you? You just,
Well, yes, if you get off in the middle of an ocean,
you might get a bit wet. Yeah.
we get back to Titanic again. Did
Yeah.
you see when Rose nearly went over the edge?
Yeah. What's your next one?
I've only really got one. Oh, no,
Oh,
I've got
right.
2 more. Getting a master's degree.
Oh.
See, this always seemed quite achievable when I was younger. I never did it. So I thought I'd do Open University.
In what particular subject?
Well, I'd like to do history, social history.
Well, that's why you've been keeping your list, isn't it?
Or maybe
You've cheated and got them in there already.
art
Yeah.
history. But whether I could do that with my current degree or whether I'd have to do a bachelor's and then a master's, I think I'm running out of time to do that. But that'd be quite good fun. And it's only a year if you do it full time. Probably 2 years if you.
Well, I did my, and it's nothing whatsoever like that, but I was really proud of myself when I did my I got my certificates for my nursery work, from being nursery nurse up to manager.
Yeah.
I just achieving that because I
Yes,
wasn't
it's
great.
still a great achievement.
Yeah,
Jan.
I wasn't at school. I wasn't very good at school, but I was just really pleased with myself to do that.
Yeah.
So, and I've often, at that time, I was thinking of doing it on Open University, strangely enough. And I thought, could I do this? Because I do love to learn, and I do, but I'm not sure I'd have the concentration now.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. I don't think I think it'd be short-lived. I'd start it and then never finish it because I'm not very good at being consistent and finishing stuff.
Well, you'd also break the rules quite early on.
For what reason?
Because you do.
Oh, that's what you mean, yeah. I can't do as I'm told.
You'll be
No.
like, I'm not following these instructions.
No, exactly. What? I want to do my own thing. Yeah.
And my last one was, this is quite a simple one as well. Do yoga. Do yoga. Be one of those people.
Well, you did have a go.
Yeah.
You was here,
I
didn't
don't
you?
I want to be one of those people who gets up every morning, yogas, and moves on with their day. And I'm not.
And you've got no reason not to do it other than motivation, really, isn't it? I'm the same. I'm
Yes.
quite good every now and then. I'll have a think, get on the bike. Even today, I got dressed because it's in the bedroom at the minute because the tree is in place of where the bike goes. But I looked at it and thought I really should get on that. I thought, what was I going to do? Go back upstairs. Yeah. But I do feel good when I do it.
Yeah.
Once I've done it, I think to myself, no, you're doing yourself good. So, that's what you need to tell yourself, really. You've got to talk yourself into it.
I just get too involved in the day, and then I think, oh yeah, I was going to do that yoga, wasn't I?
Yeah.
No, it
It's like
doesn't
me, I was
happen.
just talking earlier, wasn't I, about doing the dance. I'd like to do the dance class. For a combination of things. I don't get to dance very often, and obviously keeping fit with it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'll do that in the new year. Fingers crossed.
Well, now I've got 2 questions for you towards the end. What would stop you completing your bucket list? See, I'm thinking, well, obviously money, but the other thing is time. Now exactly, we're retired.
Yeah.
Why haven't we got time?
But it's the classic thing of, they say when you're retired, very often you haven't got the time because you're too busy doing other stuff you want to do.
I know. It's interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Money is a big factor because
yes.
nearly everything involves money, doesn't it? Nearly everything I've got on my list involves money. I can't think of anything there that doesn't at all.
No.
So, mainly money.
I said I have 2 questions.
And agreeing with Duncan
Yeah.
on doing it.
I can't remember what the other one was.
Oh, I thought you'd written it down.
No.
Okay. Well, you've got only one. You'll remember it in a minute.
Oh, well.
I've got go scuba diving. Now, this is obviously a problem when I don't swim. But when I watch these programmes where they do go down scuba diving, and I'm so jealous.
See, that doesn't appeal to me. Isn't it funny? Because I am a reasonable swimmer.
But why doesn't it appeal?
There's something about that mask and suffocation and drowning which frightens me a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've not really worn it. I'm assuming that would give me more security than if I went in with water on my face.
That would worry you
That
more.
would worry me more. I think if I yeah, I'd like to be able to do it. And I mean, when I see them diving and just seeing the beautiful ocean and the beautiful fish, the colours and everything, I just really get annoyed with myself that I don't swim.
I remembered what the other question was now. Get to the end of your list.
Well, the last one I've got is, and I always feel really selfish saying this, but I really would like to do a solo holiday.
Why is that selfish?
Because I wouldn't want Duncan to feel I was deserting him. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel like there's something, I mean, even things like just sitting in a cinema on my own, having a meal on my own. I used to quite like going and having a coffee and a scones when I was younger, and the kids had gone. Roger was at work, kids were in school, and I'd sit down and have a cup of tea and a scone with cream, and I'd love that little bit of time. So I think it's just a bit of that still, just to do things, I suppose, just for me, and to not to have to think about someone else, which is the position you're in, really, aren't you? You're, living alone sort of thing. So
we talked about that earlier as to whether people would like that as a podcast.
Yeah, I think we probably will touch on it, because I think there's a lot to be talked about on that. But I just it might be scary, but again, that's another fear, isn't it? Thinking about it, just to do that, even though it's quite scary, and just do it, and then just come home really happy that I've done it, and probably never ever do it again. That's even actually thinking about it. Even if it was just for a long weekend, I'd be quite. Because I even going to the UK when I used to go and see the kids and doing that on my own was quite. I can't think of the word, but it was quite exciting to do it alone. But forever turning around and obviously wanting to tell Dunk about it, and he's not there, sort of thing. So it's
maybe there would be a position where you and Dunk, through your hobbies or something, have different interests. You could do 2 separate holidays. He could go on a biking holiday one year, and you could go
I've said this to him, but he's not one
like
for doing group things. He's just not. And the fact that he doesn't want to do it sometimes, I think maybe he should, because I think he could do with that distraction. But he's quite happy being distracted on his own, isn't he, with his trains or his bike or whatever. Or even Xbox, anything like that. So yeah, I wouldn't want him to feel not because I don't want to go with him, it's just because I want that experience of trying on my own.
Yeah.
But that was the last of my one. What was your other question?
I did remember it, so I've written it down this time. On that list, which do you think you are most able to achieve, maybe in the next couple of years?
Probably the toboggan.
Yes.
And I would think possibly the train trip. Because we're so keen on travelling at the minute and doing stuff, depending on Duncan's work and money again, I do fancy the train trip, yeah.
That's good, isn't it?
Hopefully. What about yours?
I think it's more things I might be able to work towards. So I'm not going to read all the books. I'd like to read more books.
Go towards
and be more fluent in French, so maybe it's steps towards my bucket list, rather than one thing I can say, right, I'm able to tick that off. And they go green, just doing little bits and pieces.
Well, yeah, that's ongoing, isn't it?
Well, that's another one of our possible subjects if people are interested.
Yes, we'll be doing a recycling one at some point. And Sharon shared with me what was it, a podcast or was it a video?
Yeah, it was a YouTube video.
Yeah, about a woman and talks about that sort of stuff, so it'd be quite good to do that one, I think. So, we haven't, obviously, because we've done 2 in one day, we haven't got any more comments from viewers or listeners, so we're going to call it a day today.
Yep,
Thank you for listening. And this one actually was just, again, it'd be after Christmas, so, but
enjoy your time.
If this is near New Year, Happy New Year.
Yes. Bon année.
Bon année, and yeah, Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye bye.